I don't know what the bigger deal is with the housing market. Is it the homeowners or is it the home buyers? I know it's been kind of a headbutting, if you will. And so we're going to get into both of those topics. But homeowners are keeping the housing market stagnant. This is according to one article by staying put. So a lot of what, for people who don't know out there, that keeps the housing market going is people who have homes wanting to move, selling those homes, leaving available housing for first-time home buyers or people who just want to purchase a home to be able to purchase those homes. And, the cycle continues. But you've got a lot of home buyers that for, a good number of years now have been staying put recently. They have not, or homeowners rather, they've not been wanting to move. They've been, kind of comfortable with where they're staying at. The lock-in effect, if you will. Some people said that the lock-in effect has been easing. It started, at least most recently, the most recent lock-in effect started with COVID, when everybody was in their homes and no one could really go anywhere.
They were paying 2.5%.
Yeah, and that aided it. That helped when people got these 2.5%, 3% interest rates. You can't get a mortgage now for the price of what you currently pay on a mortgage in whatever home you're living in. And so because of that, a lot of people who are locked into those 2-3% interest rates, you don't want to move. You don't want to
And
go.
$1,200 a month for a $500,000 house.
It's like, why in the world would you want to move from that?
Because now that mortgage is going to be about $4,000, $3,900 a month, depending on how much you put down. You know what's so funny? This first sentence in this article, the typical U.S. homeowner now stays in their home for 12 years, up from 11.8 years. It's so funny to me.
It's like,
ooh, me too.
They now stay in their home 12 years, up from 12.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I saw that too. I was like, really? We searching for news now. Like, ooh, that
wrote this.
11.8, it was up from 12. Now they did have a number that was, a little bit less. They said it is a little shorter than what it was in 2020. I guess it was 13 and a half years in 2020. And so, it's a year and a half less than 2020, but it's a lot different from what it was in 2005. Homeowners in 2005 typically sold after 6.5 years. So, I mean, we're almost double that right now with people staying in their homes. So
people are staying in their homes because it's more affordable. And the birth rate has also gone down because having kids is less affordable. Like, those are two things that I've noticed. The birth rate, I think the birth rate and the housing market may kind of, they're not related, but they may kind of go like hand in hand because it's so much more expensive to have a kid now. People just don't want to, they don't want to pay more than what they have to because they're used to the good old days, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, it's not that things are always. It's funny how we feel that with some things we're making progress as a society, and then with other things we're regressing. Like, if you've ever heard the saying, "The best thing since sliced bread." It's funny. I think in my head now, the best thing since sliced bread is unsliced bread. So my wife actually, about a month or two ago, a couple months ago, she started baking bread from scratch, like just making it at home, making the yeast. And
see, I need to meet her because you said she also makes her own spaghetti sauce, and don't come in a can or a jar. You can forget it, okay?
Like, she started
making bread now too.
She making bread. And I'm gonna tell you what, like, when she bakes a loaf, she bakes them 2 loaves at a time because the portion sizes that she used with the yeast and everything, like, it's enough to make 2 loaves. And so we got 2. She bought 2 bread loaves.
Delicious.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, it is so much better than remotely anything I've ever had in a store. It just tastes so much better, and it's fresher. I know all the ingredients that went in there. It's like, oh, there's some yeast, there's some sugar, a little bit of salt, There's the
Mhm.
flour. It's like I know everything. There's some oil that she puts in there as well.
Oh, and I know the house just smells heavenly when you smell it.
Yes. I'm like, this is fresh. I know everything that's in here. I was watching a video the other day, and there was a gentleman. He wrote a book about eating healthier as well, and he had he makes a lot of things from scratch too. But one of the things that he did was that he took a loaf of bread from the store. He said this
Mhm.
bread is about a month old, not any mold on the bread at all.
Oh, I know.
And he was
In
like,
the 90s, bread used to mold like that. Like when I was
yeah.
growing up, I
He's like,
haven't seen moldy bread in years.
my wife made this homemade bread and he showed it. He said she made this about like 2.5, 3 weeks ago, covered in mold. Um, the bread that my wife makes, we eat that in like a week so it doesn't go bad. But you buy stuff from the store, this bread was like a month and a half old, not a single bit of mold on. I was like, you know what? I can't remember the last time I saw mold on bread.
What are they feeding us?
If the mold don't want to eat the bread, and we're just like, I'll take it.
Flies don't.
Yeah.
Flies don't. Most foods now, flies don't even. They don't. They won't land on it. I've noticed that.
Hmm.
You know what?
I don't know, but it's some craziness. But back to the houses. But no, but no, I mentioned all of that to say that we feel like things are getting better with the direction that we're going in with things, but in actuality, there's some things that sliced bread wasn't better than unsliced bread, at least not to where it's progressed to now with all of the chemicals and all the other stuff that we put in it to keep it from going bad. Really quick, I did see another thing about fast food and all of the stuff that they put in fast food,
Yeah.
chemicals and everything. And the reason that McDonald's fries have zero blemishes, because if you've ever seen potatoes, if you ever seen just raw potatoes, sometimes you have like a little brown mark in the potato, you got to cut that out or whatever like that. Well, there's chemicals that get sprayed on these fields to keep these potatoes from developing these little brown spots. But it's like the pests don't even want to eat the potatoes. They don't want to eat the whatever else. But then those same companies will chop them up, throw them in some grease, and serve them to humans. So
Mm.
interesting stuff. But yeah, no, I say all that because when we're looking at this, I'm looking at this like homeowners, how long they stay in their current home. That's increasing. I don't, I know the effect that it has on the market, but I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. One,
Why?
one of the reasons is because the only way that you ever get to a point of owning anything of significant value and having worth that you're passing on to whoever else is eventually owning it enough to pay it off, or long enough to pay it off.
Right.
When you're moving somewhere every 5 years, you're never paying that thing off. You're actually, every time you move, it's costing you money. It's costing you money to move your stuff, obviously, but it's also costing you taxes. Is because you got to pay taxes when you sell something for more than what capital gains tax if it's an investment property, I should say. But then you also have to pay closing costs for the next place that you go and purchase. So that might be another 10,000, 15,000, whatever that you end up paying in closing costs and taxes that you're going to have to pay again. If you're in a situation where it is now, where interest rates are higher than what they were in 2020 and 2021, your monthly mortgage payment's going to go up. So I think that everyone who was able to purchase in 2019, 2020, it's kind of like, why not just hold on to that cheap debt? Like, you got a 2% interest rate on a home. You're paying barely any interest on that thing. Like, just hold on to that thing as long as you can possibly. If you don't have to sell, yeah, like why not sign? Like I said, I know some people would disagree because it does affect the housing market, the supply of housing out there, and we're already in a shortage. The last numbers I saw was like 4 million or something like that, just over 4 million, and the housing gap, the shortage of where we're at right now.
That's crazy.
And we're not gonna make up that ground anytime soon. Um, it's they're not building 4 million homes this year and next year or the year after.
Land left for them to do that?
It is, especially with how close they put homes today. You can put about
Oh, yeah.
five. They put about like 4 or 5 homes on 1 acre. Your house be sitting on like a quarter
Right.
acre lot, maybe less, maybe 0.15, whatever. They put them things as close as they possibly can to one another.
Yeah. In Georgia, like in the rural areas, more country areas, you if it's on septic, which normally it is if it's in the rural area, it has to have an acre minimum
Mhm.
to be on septic. So I mean, I see why a lot of people when they just want privacy, they move out to the outskirts, you know.
Come on out. That's where I love it. Privacy, outskirts, away from the traffic. Not, or at least most of the traffic that's in the downtown area.
There's traffic everywhere.
It
And
is.
I feel like nobody works a traditional job in the Atlanta metro area because people are always everywhere all day long. I don't understand it. How's the nail shop full at 11 a.m. on a Tuesday? Nobody works. What are y'all
Yeah.
doing?
I remember when driving through downtown, particularly on a Sunday, was like one day that you knew was not gonna have any traffic because it's like it's Sunday. No one's out. Businesses are largely closed. Sunday is like a Tuesday or a Wednesday. It's like I'm driving through downtown at 10 o'clock Sunday morning and it's traffic
Traffic.
all through 75, 85. I'm like, where are y'all going? Like, what
Yes.
are y'all doing? Because, and the only reason I go to downtown is go to church because the church I go to is downtown. So I'm driving there Sunday morning to go to church. And I'm like, where are all these other people going? Ain't that many people in Atlanta going to church? It's like, where are y'all
No
headed?
lane, honey, or if they are at the church, they leave church at church. Look at you drive out the parking lot, you get honked at, flipped off, and cussed out.
Yeah, yeah. I have no idea, but yeah, I mean, I'm not
This
opposed to people staying longer. I also got a taste of generational houses when I was living in Italy. For the 3 years I lived over in Italy, it was, it's a different culture over there. A lot of the families live together. And by together, I mean, if they're not in the same house, they might be right next to each other. Or, you know, several, one of the guys that I worked with when I was living in Italy, his in-laws, because his wife was Italian, um, they all lived like on the same street. Like all the houses is like across the street were like family, and next door was family, and the house adjacent to them was family. It was like this whole little area was just all their family. But
oh, that precious.
that was kind of. But you know what? We used to do that same thing. We as in black people in this country, it used to be the same way where it was like you lived with your family. You could walk to your auntie house, you could walk to your uncle's, whatever. Your cousins were right down the street. As time went on, we grew away from that, but we used to do the same thing. I know my family, it used to be the same thing where their house or property, I should say, is in Georgia because our family is not largely not there anymore. But the property used to be owned, adjacent across the street. Everything was owned by our family.
Mhm.
So I mean, I'm not opposed to people staying put longer. I think it's just, you know,
I feel like it's also the same with rentals.
mhm,
Because I have an active buyer right now. He's a VA loan, and Kabir, you know who he is.
mhm.
We were looking at a duplex, and the guy that owns it he's an elderly owner, and the tenants are actually elderly. They're older, and he said one of them has been there 30 years.
Oh wow!
The other one probably has been there maybe half that, but
Like the
they're long
tenant has
term
been there
tenants.
30 years.
Huh?
The tenant has been there 30. Oh, he could have bought him a house and paid it off by now.
That's exactly what I told Kabir. I was like, The rent is under 800 a month for a 2 bed, 1.5 bath. Even though it's in, Clayton County, still that it usually it should be like around 11 or 1200. Usually it's be like 1250 maybe. But they both had one had like he was it was an much older guy, and then a younger man living with him. Looked like maybe it was his son or a grandson. And then the other tenant had her daughter and son-in-law living with her. So I'm seeing even renters staying put, it just depends on, and then the families are kind of huddling together. And this goes back to, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago where, people are kind of not having a choice because I don't think it's like due to I don't think the homeowners are staying put because they have to like they just love how much they're paying so much as I think everything else is so expensive. And like you said, they know that they can't go anywhere else and get the same house note.
Mm-hmm.
But not even that, like, can they qualify for something? Can they pay more?
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody wants to take all the money that they make off of their home sale and be paying so much more in their next place that in a year it's gone. And I think that serves as a perfect segue to the other article that you sent where 14% of home sales were canceled in January. Like that makes sense because not only do the sellers not want to move, but I think a lot of them don't have to move.
Mm-hmm.
Because a buyer is going to cancel for, I'll say one of 2 or 3 reasons. One being, okay, a bad inspection. The other one just being like cold feet and not having their mind made up, or like their financing isn't going to go through. But I think the majority of them is because it's a bad inspection report or low appraisal.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think, there's a not meeting of the minds that, if you got a low appraisal, the seller's not going to want to drop the price. If there's a bad inspection report and the seller's like, well, I'm not fixing anything. I mean, to your point, it's like their mortgage isn't a lot. So they would be paying money to fix a house to sell it for less, to move somewhere where they're going to pay more money.
Much more.
It's like that math ain't mathing.
No incentive.
It's like, wow, I'm going to spend $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, however much it's going to cost to do these repairs you want on a house that I'm not paying much for, which means I'm going to get less money at closing. Or if it's a low appraisal, I'm going to get less money at closing just to move somewhere where now my interest rate's going to be higher. My, monthly mortgage payment's going to be higher. The price that I have to pay for the house is going to, in all likelihood, be higher because if I bought my house in 2020, housing prices done gone up since then. So,
so much.
It's like, what is the incentive for me to not live where I'm currently living? Like, no, I just need to kind of just stay put then. It's like, if I do decide to sell, you have a lot of not real sellers. And what I mean by that is sellers who, they might list their home, but trying to see what the market will actually offer them for their house. Like, hey, I wonder if I could get the 400,000 that I really want for this house.
No, not when you paid 263,000 for it 3 years ago.
Like, that's the thing. And they're like, I wonder if I could get 420 for this house. And then it's like, the market's not going to give you that.
And then the house be like 1,400 square feet.
But they, at the end of the day, they're like, but if it doesn't sell, I don't care. I mean, I'll just keep living here anyways because it's cheaper. But I was just seeing if I could get it. If I could get it, great. But if not, and so I think you got people putting their homes up for sale, but they don't really need to move. They're kind of just content with where they are. One of the numbers I will say though, and it was at the beginning of that article with the home cancellations, is that 40,000 home sales. 40,000 home sale agreements nationwide were canceled in January.
Yeah. that 14% equates to 40,000. So 40,000 is 14% of what
Yeah, it's
year?
and it's a little over 0.5% higher than what it was, a year ago. So January of 2025, it's a little bit high, a little over 0.5%, about 0.6% higher than what it was then. So I mean, that number is going up in terms of home cancellations, which to me just says you got more buyers that aren't coming to a meeting of the minds with the sellers and vice versa.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I said buyers are backing out. They're second guessing the wisdom, as a Redfin premier agent in Los Angeles put it. They're second guessing the wisdom of making a huge purchase when there's a fear in the back of their mind about the state of the economy and the uncertainty of their finances. And I do want to say, when it comes to the uncertainty of the economy, that is a reason that does cause people to get pause, because I did not know until about 2 or 3 days ago that Afghanistan and Pakistan were at war, because that war does not get published. It's about 3, 4 wars going on right now,
Yes.
but you've got a lot of uncertainty going on with the wars. There's the conflict with U.S. and Israel, happening in Iran or Iran. And then you've got Afghanistan and Pakistan. You've got Russia and Ukraine. You've got other areas that are just experiencing some tension, if you will, but they haven't broken out into conflict. You have the thing that happened in Mexico, about a month or so ago, where it was like, I think a drug lord or something like that was killed, one of their top drug lords that was killed based off of U.S. intelligence, but now it created some unrest in Mexico.
There was some people that went down there for their birthday and couldn't come back.
Yeah.
Same thing with the when the war in Iran, well, not war, but the civil unrest or whatever, when they killed that leader for no reason.
Mm.
Some people, there was this girl, I saw an article, she got stuck in Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
She went there for her birthday and now she's afraid to travel at all. And it's like, that's the scariest part about traveling, is that when someone in whatever presidential administration decides that they want to kill or bomb someone, you can literally get stuck overseas.
See, and yeah, I guess having lived overseas for a few years, I'm kind of like, I can make it work.
It's not that bad.
Yeah.
It depends on where you get stuck in, though. Like Dubai doesn't seem to be the cheapest place to get, because it's not like you can work and make money. And some people take vacations knowing good and well that they don't have no money really to be there in the first place.
Yeah.
They really can't afford to stay past however long their trip is. So that's the thing that kind of sucks. Unless you have a friend there and they're kind of hosting you a little bit, you're having to pay for breakfast, lunch, dinner, hotel every night. Like, that gets expensive, and it gets scary. You don't want to be homeless without shelter in a completely different country. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And yeah, it's like the unrest part of it is, I understand that. It's, if you're a first time home buyer, particularly, you're about to make the largest purchase of your life, and then you're like, oh wait, the U.S. is in a conflict overseas right now. How is that going to affect the economy? Am I still going to have my job? The trade war, the tariff war, I should say, where it's like we were putting tariffs on all these other countries and they were retaliating with their own tariffs. And we, the consumers, pay the brunt of all of this. This is,
yes,
other countries just tack those tariffs onto the goods that they're selling to us. We pay those goods at the inflated prices, or the companies that buy those goods here pay them at the inflated prices, and then they sell them to us at the inflated prices because they got to make a profit still. So it's like, you got trade wars, tariff wars, actual wars, all of this stuff. It's like, yeah, I can see why buyers, it wouldn't take much to flick you off the fence if you're already on edge, and it's like, oh, you know what, do I want to buy this house? And then inspection report comes back and it's like, oh yeah, the banister on the stairs to go upstairs is a little weak, and the seller doesn't want to fix it,
Mm-mm.
and it's like, all right, I want to terminate the contract. It's like, let's just fix the thing and let's go ahead and get the house. It's like, no, you're already on edge. You're already like, oh, it's so much happening in the world, and anything can just, flick you off the fence. And now you're like, no, I'm not going to purchase. Everything's got to be perfect.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a sign. It's like, yeah, it is a sign. You need to roll up your sleeves. You're a homeowner now. If you think that banister is something big, wait till your HVAC system goes out.
For real.
And I mean, not to make light of it, but it's really like, if that's what's gonna kick you off the fence, I don't think you're ready. You're not ready to be a homeowner if the banister is what's gonna, do it for you.
Right. And by the way, 40,000 is 14% of 285,000.
Mm.
So, 14% isn't a huge number of canceled contracts, but 40,000 when you think about it. And I think probably Atlanta had, did it say how many Atlanta had? Yeah, we were leading. Well, no, San Antonio looked like San Antonio was leading.
Oh,
But Atlanta was like second.
Oh yeah, San Antonio was up there at 21% of their home purchase agreements. Atlanta was at 18.5%. So we're ahead of the average for sure.
They sure were. Always.
You're probably feeling a little bit of that.
We're gonna be in the lead.
I was like, you're probably feeling some of that 18.5%.
Man, yes. That's why I put it's like a cynical emoji on that one when you said that to me yesterday. I was like, yes, because of course, it wasn't that I disliked the article. I just disliked the subject matter because yes, I'm very much so affected by that. I have buyers, either that or like sometimes we don't even get to the contract because the buyers are like, I'm going to offer 90,000 less than the purchase than the asking price. And so it's like, I spend all this time. It takes, people don't understand, with all the exhibits, all the addenda, it takes an hour to write, minimum, to write one offer.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that I don't get paid for when you decide that you want to terminate because you don't like the sloping of the floors. The seller's trying to pretend like he don't realize he walking up and down hill every time he goes from the living room to the kitchen.
I just got strong calves. I just got strong calves. I didn't recognize.
Well, of course he ain't gonna want to fix it. Oh, just buy the house. It'll work out. We literally had a seller tell us that. Oh, it's fine. It'll work out. It's fine. Just buy the house. Oh no. So, I'm sitting up writing offers. And then when they're duplexes and investment properties, a lot of these, especially if they're tenant occupied, you have to go under contract first before they'll even let you step foot in and see it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't want to be disturbing the tenants. The landlords don't want to disturb the tenants for every looky-loo that just, wants to see. Yeah. So, having to write an offer before we can even see the home doesn't work out with this one. So, I've written like 3 or 4 offers for one client, and that's a lot, and then, they're either offering too little or, once they finally see the house, it's like, no, don't want it. And then I have to send a cancellation. And so it's a lot, even these investors, they're not wanting to sell. Well, they want to sell, but they don't have to sell because a lot of them have held their, investments for a little minute. So, or they're, a lot of them though, they are trying to cash out so that they can put their money into other investments. But
yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't just blame the homeowners on keeping the housing market stagnant. That's why I said I feel like these two go together because I feel like it's equally homeowners absolutely. And buyers.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree because, like you said, on the one end, you got buyers that are like, we'll offer them 90,000 below asking, but then you've got the sellers who are like, I just want to see if I can get 400K for my home, but on the seller side, they don't need to sell. And on the buyer side, you're so scared of buying, it's like, oh, well, if they don't meet my demands or my terms, I'm gonna walk. It's like, okay, you can walk because there's another seller who will happily rent their home to you so you can continue paying their mortgage and they can continue keeping their home and whatever the case might be. It's like if I have a home and it's like I don't need to sell it, I'm gonna rent it. And someone else is still gonna pay me. So whether I'm getting a lump sum all at once from selling or whether I'm getting it little by little over the months,
You
something's
still
coming
have the
in.
upper hand.
Exactly. So it's like,
Because a home is not going to do anything but appreciate in value. Now, yes, there may be a cluster of some years where it's, over, not overvalued, but, inflated in price. And so it'll adjust. But more often than not, I would say 95% of the time, you're always going to be able to sell your house for much more than you purchased it as long as you hold it for at least, come on, people, 5, 6 years. Can we get 10? Can I get
yeah,
15? Come on.
yeah. I think you hold it for longer. I think is real estate's a long game. It's a long term play. I mean, you got your fix and
Mm-hmm,
flippers. That's not the way to get build wealth and longevity in real estate. I think you buy and hold for the long run.
mm-hmm.
One thing I will say is that I think buyers do need to put on their big boy pants or big girl pants at the long run because at the end of the day, I've heard a lot of people, weirdly enough, investors who also own real estate but they own rental properties and they're like, oh, it's cheaper to rent than to buy. It's better to just rent because the costs are expensive and you have the freedom to just get up and move and go where you want to go. And it's better. It's better to be a renter today than it is to be an owner. If that were the case, all of these people who own homes would be trying to get rid of them. But we're still in a housing shortage, which means people who own homes aren't losing money on these endeavors. They're making money on these endeavors. And who are they making that money from? They're making it from the people who are renting the properties.
Renters,
So
renter.
it's like, oh, it's better to be a renter. It's cheaper to be a renter. Yeah, if you start day one, yeah, it's going to be cheaper for you to rent that house. But by the time you get to like year 7, year 8, year 10, because if you plan on being here another decade, and by here, I mean living on earth, another 10 years, 20 years, whatever, you're going to be living somewhere, which means that every month you're going to be paying someone something. So if you think, oh, well, I don't want to pay for a place for 8 years, it's like, well, you're going to pay for a place for 8 years. You're either going to pay for your house that you own for 8 years, or you're going to pay for someone else's house that they own for 8 years, but you're going to pay for somewhere. So day one, yes, it might be more expensive for you to pay for your own house, but by the time you get to like year 7, year 8, that's flipped, where now your principal and interest payment is still the same, but if you had only rented, your year 8 is going to be higher than what your rent was in year 1. And that number continues to increase. Whereas if you purchase year 1, you might be paying a little bit more, but year 8 is not that much more of a difference. Your taxes may have gone up a little bit. Your insurance may have gone up a little bit, but it's not like in any given year. If you have on average, rent increase is about 2 to 5% year over year on average. So
Right.
depending upon your market, some markets 2%, some markets closer to 5%. If you're paying $2,000 a month in rent and you experience a 5% increase or 2% increase in your rent, that's for the whole $2,000. Taxes and insurance when you own a home is a smaller portion of that whole mortgage payment: principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So principal and interest, you're locked in for 30 years, and that's most of your mortgage payments, just principal and interest. So if taxes go up, that's a smaller portion. If your taxes went up 2% year over year or 5% year over year, that's still a smaller increase than what it is if your rent goes up 2 to 5%, because that's the whole rent that goes up. So in either case, in the long run, home ownership wins out. In addition to the fact that when you actually pay that mortgage, you're putting money into the home, which you're getting back via equity. So you're getting equity in your home. Your home is appreciating in value. You get no appreciation, you get no equity when you rent. It's just one of those things where it's like, oh, it's cheaper, it's cheaper, it's cheaper. It's like, I think that's if you have a short-term mindset and you're only looking at for today. But if you
Yeah.
can see that this is a long game that you need to play, then you realize that, oh, you know what? I should start owning today, and 7 years from now, 8 years from now, maybe 5 years from now, depending upon how the market flips, because we know that people who bought in 2019, 2018, 2020, they saw a return on their investment like that. But, maybe even sooner, but you start having that long-term mindset where it's like, you know what, let me start owning because it's going to cost me a little bit more now, but I'm going to save more in the long run. You're going to pay, you're going to feel the pain. You're either going to feel it now and have it a little bit easier later, or you're going to have it easier now, but you're going to feel pain later because you're going to be forever beholden to whatever a landlord wants to charge you to rent. And those numbers are going to climb. I mean, if for no other reason than inflation, rent prices are going to go up, because if I own the home and my taxes go up and I'm renting it to you, your rent just went up because I'm not paying the tax increase out of my pocket. I'm not living in the home. You're living in the home. You've got to pay that tax increase. So my taxes go up, $200 a year, $500 a year, whatever. Your rent just goes up $200, $500 a year, or whatever that is, to compensate for that. So yeah, being the owner to me just is a longer term play. And I'm not saying it's for everyone, but I think home buyers definitely need to put on their big pants and start playing this thing from the long game perspective.
Greatest asset community.
Yep.
So we're telling you, like, share, comment, subscribe. There's another one that y'all need to do. Like, share, comment, subscribe.
Give money. Put your cash app in and we'll
Oh man, I forgot it. I forgot the other action item, but
share.
if y'all do those four, then y'all will be in good shape. I'll think of it later. But yeah.
I think that's all of them. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I think that's all of them.
It was another one.
Oh, well, I have no idea.
I'll think of it later tonight at midnight.
Alrighty. Well, hopefully I'll be sleeping good at midnight. I try to go to bed early so I can get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, get my day started. But in any
I
case,
still get up at that time, but I don't go to sleep until like 12 because I just can't sometimes. You know why? Because I'm a day napper. That's why. I need to stop that mess.
I wish I could take some naps during the day. Well, no, I don't. I get some stuff done during the day. But it would be nice sometimes, because I do be getting tired sometimes during the day. But then when you got 3 little ones running around, you can't just be like, all right, Papa's going to go take a nap. Y'all don't burn the house down while I'm here.
Yep. See, Baxter, he's self-sufficient. He goes in that cage. I lock him in there. I go upstairs. But see, my office hours are from 10 to 10 because a lot of my clients work nights or they're business owners.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still taking calls and everything at 10 o'clock most nights of the week.
Oh, okay.
So I get a little nap in between. It's crazy.
It's a nice
Such
little
life.
Nice little office that you got back there with the white couch and the view and everything. It's so nice. Yeah.
I live downtown in a flat.
Yeah, I see. Those plants have never looked greener.
Oh my goodness. I have a green thumb.
Yeah, I can see those plants are nice. Yeah.
Yes. What are you, jealous?
I am. I mean, I just cut down some trees to make these guitars myself. Handmade.
Wow.
This actually was made by my daughter, though. This was back in or actually all 3 of my kids, not my daughter. I have 2 girls and a boy, but my kids, actually, my wife helped them with it. But I'm big into music. I like music. I'm not as great on the guitar. I'm better on the piano. But it's a keyboard on the bottom, and then their handprints are each up there. So
we need to redo. I mean, how are their handprints any bigger now?
Oh, absolutely. That was from like 3 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We need to redo with the handprints. That is just so precious.
Yeah, but I at least have a
A
imprint of their
memento.
hand when it was like,
So
they
cute.
were young. My son wasn't even 1 years old, or he may have been just at 1 years old in that picture, or when that was done, because that was for Father's Day. So he
That's
was
so
just over
fresh.
one. So yeah.
Maybe one day I'll let y'all see my real background. I just got to put my little picture up. But, who knows when I'm going to do that, Frederick? Who knows?
Yeah. Life be lifing.
It does. It does. Especially in the industry that we're in. When you're 1099, self employed, essentially, independent contractor, you have to work when the work comes to you. You don't go to work. The work comes to you. And then you work whatever territory you're given. So it's a little bit different as far as, schedule wise. We get done what we can when we can. So
I'll say I did have a so I'm always getting marketed to, because there are people like, hey, you want to, get our marketing system that can help you close more loans, and everybody throws AI in the title of whatever they do now, like, hey, our new AI marketing system that'll help you get. And so the numbers that they threw out, it was like we had one person that joined our program, and they got 100 and it was 300 and what was no it was 100 and something, like, leads basically. And they didn't even mention the time frame that it took to get this, but it was like 117 leads. But all the leads in there, oh no, that's what it was. It was 300 and something leads that turned into 117 applications, and they had 10 closed loans. And I was like, the 10 closed loans sounds nice. Again, they didn't mention what time frame this took place over, but it was like 300 and something leads, 100 and something applications, and 10 closed loans.
mm-hmm.
What I thought after I read this was, my goodness, I don't want to take 100 applications for 10 of them to close. Like,
Right.
because that's a lot of work. I mean, for you, that would be the equivalent of, hey, I want you to write 100 purchase and sale agreements. 10 of these gonna work out. You're like, that's 100 hours of my time, and 10 of them gonna work out. It's
What
like,
that lady told the influencer inside of that store, she was like, "Can you record me right quick?" She was like, "You gotta get somebody else to do it." You have to get somebody else to do it, honey. I'm not doing that. I'm just not gonna do it. It doesn't. It's not worth it to me.
my time is worth a lot. My time is valuable. It is worth more than anything else in my life other than my wife and kids. It's like, I cannot replace my wife. I cannot replace my children. I cannot replace my time. Everything else in my life is replaceable. The money, the cars, the house,
Mm-hmm.
the material things, everything else is replaceable. It's like, I can't replace my family. I can't replace my time.
That's right.
Both of those, you can't put a price tag on something you can't replace. So it's like, those are valuable to me, but it's like, yeah, I nothing. And I know what they were getting at. It was like, look at all these things, and then 10 closed loans. I was like, yeah, but I can't get my eyes off the fact that I've got to take 117 loan applications. That's, how many hours I'm going to spend pushing all of these applications just to get to the 10 that are actually going to,
Mm-hmm.
close like, I don't care how much money the 10 makes for me. I feel like I done made that money 10 times over by the time I get it. Like, if those 10 make me $200,000, I'm like, yeah, but I put in like $2 million worth of work.
Right. Yep.
So,
Mm.
yeah,
They're
it
gonna
is what
start
it is.
lying pretty soon here. They're gonna start lying about how many applications you gotta take to get that 10. They're gonna start lying about the real number. Because they have to know that that's not an attract. But you see, this is how I know that people that are coming up with these systems either haven't worked in the industry in a long time or just don't work in it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how I know, because there's no way that you could possibly think that that is lucrative.
Yeah, it's like, don't you want to do like all this work, but then you get decent pay at the end? It's like, no, I want to do, you know, Ideally, less is possible for more pay. But you know what? If I work a lot, I also want to, at least get some return off of that. But part of the discouraging thing, or, frustrating is a better word, with the industry that we're in is that, um, you're working with people and people have their different motives and their different timelines and their different reasons and everything. But when you're working with people, you've got some people that are like, they'll waste your time because your time's not valuable to them.
Right.
And so they're like, oh, yeah, I want to do this. And in your instance, you'll have people that want to see 20 houses, don't plan on buying one, but they want to see 20 houses. And it's one thing you're taking them to see this house and the next house and the next house. Now imagine if you had to write a contract on all those houses, and each contract is falling through. And it's like, I have to do an application and go through loan documents and calculate income and look at W-2s. And, I got to go through all of that for every single individual. I don't know if you qualify unless I go through that whole process. And so,
Right.
yeah, it's like, I don't want to do that 100 times and then get 10. Like, that's just bad math for me.
Mm-hmm. But that's 10 you wouldn't have had if you hadn't used our AI system. So, what do you say?
Yeah, yep, you're right. That's 10 I wouldn't have had. And all money ain't good money.
Right, that part.
I'll,
Oh,
uh,
gosh.
I'll leave that 10 on the table and have my peace and sanity, because while I'm spending all the hours doing that, I've got little ones who are like, Daddy, will you play with me? It's like, nah, I got to go hunt down these 10. And I've never, eventually they're going to get to the age where they're, they got their own thing going on and they don't want to, have my time anymore. And then
Yeah.
it's like, I don't get that back. I can't go back and say, okay, I done made all the money now and I'm comfortable now. And hey, you want to go play catch? It's like, Dad, I'm 18. I don't want to play, race cars with you now. Like you kind of missed that time in life. It's like, no, I'd rather not make the money and make the memories and have the time and, show them, okay, you know what? You're more important than the money or whatever it is. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. But anyways, tune in Fridays. Next episode of Grace Asset Community Podcast. We'll be dropping another episode Tuesday. Home finance hacks. Till next time, take care. Be blessed. See you next week.